This panel is the state of AI, sustainable, or a bubble waiting to burst. Okay, so here's the panel. It's the state of AI, sustainable, or a bubble waiting to burst. We all want to know the answer to that. And I introduce you to Rana from Raptor PR, who will be moderating. And let's have a round of applause, please.
Good morning. Awesome to be here. I've had AI in my life probably for a quarter of a century, because I'm just such a massive fucking sci-fi fan. Anyway, it's here. Rana, founder and CEO of Raptor PR. We are a pure B2B tech agency for the games industry. I'd love to introduce the panelists. If you could just introduce yourself, what you do, and the company you work for, that'd be cool. Charlotte?
Yeah. Hi everyone, my name's Charlotte. I run my own consultancy business, which kind of sits at the intersection of sort of strategy, product, and then commercial viability / reality. I've been in the games industry for 15 years. I previously ran all the revenue delivery at Team 17. I've worked at Sega, Take-Two, and I've also worked on the service side of the business. So I've kind of moved around all the different sort of areas of the business. And I'm currently working as a fractional Chief Commercial Officer for two businesses who have an AI focus, but in very different areas. One is on IP translation and sort of democratizing licensing through IP. And then the other is very much focused on sort of QA optimization, leveraging AI as well.
Awesome.
Hi everyone, my name's Pal. I'm the founder of Pirateblood Studios. We are an AI-first gaming studio. We have built out some tech that sits at the core infrastructure and UX layer called Pirate Link, and it enables real-time voice to action. So basically what it does in very low latency is it converts your voice into any action in the game. So it takes probabilistic input, which is the intent, i.e. you talking, and it turns it into a deterministic output, which is an actual output in the game. Before that, I led product in audio at TikTok, in R&D. I've had a startup before, which did quite well, and recently I was director of tech innovation at Baller League, which is a six-a-side football league. And very much I've been across sport, entertainment, and media all my life. And yeah, I was thinking whether I should do a little rap on this microphone, because I always feel inspired to do so when I hold this, but I pulled out of that, so I've spared you. Nice to meet you.
Hi, hello, very nice to meet you. My name is Oriane. I'm the co-founder and COO of X&Immersion. We provide AI tech engineering for the video game industry, ranging from production to live playing features. Thanks for having me.
Cheers.
Hello, my name is Oz, and I've been in AI since 2017. Did some different things, like some machine learning AI consulting. I had a startup. We did UA automation, marketing automation with machine learning. And then I was head of UA for Leonardo AI, like text to image. And now I'm advisor to several AI startups. And at Transform Gaming, I'm chief AI officer, like doing the AI strategy and in all different use cases in gaming for machine learning AI. And nice to see you, Rana.
Awesome, thanks guys. So the title, The State of AI, Sustainable or Bubble Waiting to Burst. So I began my career in the dot-com boom, late 90s, early noughties. It was new, there's huge amounts of investment, huge opportunity, but it wasn't the networked world back then. So AI is here, it's been around for a while, but it's now, it's mainstream in a business and consumer perspective. So it's a different landscape. So what does sustainable mean in reality with AI nowadays? Is it time saved, money made, risk reduced, player trust improved? What does that mean to you, sustainable AI right now?
Well, when you say, I would say what I understand from sustainable is it going to be used like 2-3 years down the line, 5 years down the line? And I think the answer is yes, but maybe there is some, like we need to set expectations, right? So today, I think AI is most useful for speeding up things. It's not a magic thing where you just sit back and things happen for you. It's more like, let's say, take an example of UA creatives, marketing creatives. It will help you much faster, create creatives and try things, but you still need to actually someone experienced managing it. So I would say AI already is in our life, in gaming studios, but we need to kind of manage the expectations there.
Okay. Oriane?
I think that for me, it would be something like always enhancing the player's experience. Like everything that you do in your game, everything that you work on, the creative vision, I would say, needs to serve one purpose, and at the end is your player having fun or not? I think that sustainable it's an interesting word because of course things are evolving super quickly, but at the end you can try out, you can make some experimentation. It's going to be super interesting, but what you're going to keep is what your players are going to have fun with in the game. For me, I would mostly say enhance the player's experience through like AI tools or whatever AI means, because it's very, very wide. Yeah.
Does anyone have a perspective on like a macro investment level? Is this kind of incredible investment in AI sustainable? Do you think it's going to carry on? Is there going to be, a downturn, then a recalibration? Is it going to follow like, an emerging tech kind of curve?
I think we're trying to fundraise at the minute, and it's hard. And we're an AI business, and I think what you have is you've had a lot of investment in AI businesses, and these VCs and investors are looking and sort of waiting to see what happens. So I think maybe there has been that investment bubble, and now I was reading something recently that explained with the dot-com bubble exactly that you had all this, going in, and then actually it was the businesses that survived that and came out the other side that are the ones that we know today, the likes of Amazon, and the way obviously they've grown into these huge organizations. So I think we're in this kind of let's wait and see, sit tight minute, which isn't good for obviously, the fact that obviously it's the advancements in technology, the investments you could be making today arguably could be better than maybe the ones you made a couple of years ago. But I do think there's this sort of hesitance, exactly that, because there's this rhetoric around, waiting to see what happens in adoption. And I think the risk we run as well is that, especially within the games world, is studios adopting, and then quietly quitting, and therefore those services having a huge churn in terms of users and tools internally, and that could sort of fuel a bubble further.
Sure. Pal, any perspectives to share?
So, investment right now is hard. That's undeniable. The game or the playing field has changed. So, a few years ago, I remember when we were in that Web3 sort of boom, you could literally raise capital with a good idea in a nice pitch deck, whereas now it's changed to the point where, with all these actual sort of tangential AI tools like, high-level example, Lovable, those sort of things, anyone can build a prototype now. So VCs themselves are actually looking for different things now. So like if you want to raise pre-seed, they want to actually see that you've got that distribution, you've got a customer base that's already there, you've lined up letters of intent. So if I can't just go and try and raise capital now and be like, I've got this great idea. And even like before, you could have said like, oh, I've got a prototype. Well, everyone's got a prototype now, right? So how many people have you met in your line of business? How many users are there that actually want to use this? Is this a problem that people want solving? So, it's actually there's more work for you to do as someone raising than there was previously. Now, the good thing, it's good and it's bad. You can build a prototype now and you can get it into people's hands, but you've got to do more work. You've got to like think about a bigger sort of chain or funnel that you've got to accommodate with all of these new tools to try and raise capital as well. So, it's given us opportunity, but it's also given us more work as well in terms of showing traction, I would say.
Just had a thought. I go to a lot of conferences around the world, from console and PC to mobile. We're obviously at a mobile gaming conference. Do you guys feel like AI is more embraced by mobile gaming than, say, console and PC? Or is it a chasm? Mobile tends to adopt emerging tech quicker, one would argue. But I'd love to get you guys' opinions on this.
Yeah, I agree, actually, because I think mobile teams are usually smaller. And especially the new startups. I mean, there are less, I would say, there are many more mobile gaming new companies from startups anyway. And when they do start, now they want to be as efficient and as fast as possible. So they adopt AI already as much as possible, versus many of the PC console are traditional companies that have to worry about IP, lawyers, like bigger institutions that need like
So
longer.
are you saying that mobile tends to be more innovative in that respect, in terms of wanting to experiment with AI?
Yes, I guess. They move faster. So.
Yeah. What do you guys think?
I've got a view on that.
Okay.
So I think, right, if you think again of the stack as a funnel,
Yeah.
pre-funnel, you've got user acquisition, right? So AI is undeniably helpful there, right? So like you can look at profiles of people who will be playing your game. Like I think Google and Meta have got this tech where it looks at a player profile. So they can tell, like, from the first day you play a game, you can see, like, by this player's behavior in that game, they're going to be in that top 10% of customer lifetime value. These are the people that we should sort of over-index on. And then at the end of that funnel, you've got the customer support. So obviously AI really helps with that, with the sort of generic answers and FAQs. Now, when we talk about AI inside of a game, that's where it gets difficult. We saw all those AI NPCs that you talk to, and there's a 5-second delay, and it just feels so wrong, right? So the AI in the game is where the magic needs to happen. So you got the front of the funnel, which is fine, and the back of the funnel, but inside the game, generating AI content in a game, what players want is they want reliability, speed, and trust. AI, as an LLM, it can hallucinate. It can come up with different responses. There can be a delay when it comes to a response as well. So, you don't want to be sitting in a game waiting for something to happen, which is why the adoption of AI has currently been quite slow. Now, sorry to circle back to Pirateblood, but, unashamed to pitch. This is where, this is why we've built a hybrid logic stack, right? Yep. So in our game, with our tech, we've got a machine learning layer which takes intent detection. So it understands what you're saying, or it makes an inference, because there's a number of ways that you can say something. Move forward, go forwards. From that intent, we map that to an action graph where there's a deterministic output. So that output in the game is always the same, right? Which is forward, right? So I think, we are going to get to, the AI is going to get better, but it needs to work in a way which just feels like magic, or is seamless to a user. It doesn't feel like it's there. So once we get to that point, the adoption is going to go much higher. But I think right now we need sort of hybrid approaches to make the feel of it within a game feel seamless.
Yeah, I agree. I think the stakes maybe feel a bit higher in the PC console world, and I think purely also because you can't iterate as quickly. It takes much longer to do updates, patches. You're not doing them daily, or weekly, where the mobile space thing can move much more quickly. And I think, once you've lost player trust, that takes a long. Sometimes you can never get it back, and other times it can take months, cost a significant amount of money, lots of pivoting to get back to that point. So I think exactly that. I think until the adoption of AI can seem frictionless to a player, I think it's going to be slower to be adopted by sort of PC console teams, just because the risks, I think the stakes are higher if it goes wrong and is obvious and disrupts the player's experience.
Yeah, I would add, I completely agree, and I would add that I think the difference between mobile and PC would also be like the business model, because when you're a mobile gaming production, you're like iterating, of course, very fast, and then you generate the money, and then if like the tool or the AI or whatever you've been using is not relevant, you just drop it for the next production. For the PC console, because production timelines are really bigger, you want to make sure that you use something that is really relevant for the game. And I think because of AI right now is kind of finding its place regarding the business model, like we don't really know what the long-term business model is going to be. I think that it's easier maybe to adopt tools for the mobile, whereas for the PC console, you want to make sure, like, do I use local inference? Do I use a third party, but that I have a deal with? I mean, I think everything in the end revolves also to what's it going to cost to me? Like, what's the price?
Yeah.
And of course, prices, like AI is very like not hard, but like it takes money to run AI, obviously. So if you don't know how much money your game is going to make in the end, you don't really know how much money you want to invest. So yeah, I think the costs pressure is also very, very big for all the AI service providers. And so it kind of loops in with your last question of, but where are we at for like the game investment? Well, if investors don't really know what the final business model is going to be, well, they are going like maybe to invest lower because they want to know, okay, where's the money in it, you know? So yeah.
One thing to add is I think the use cases are a bit different. Like in mobile, it's more about like creating the game, marketing, optimization, live ops, those things. In PC, it's like the topic before us was about moderation, community, all these things. They already are using it there. So the adoption is a bit slightly different. And I think, personally, I think UGC type stuff, customization, those things will start to use AI tools. I mean, they're already using it, but adoption will go up.
Interesting. So, if the bubble does pop, what do you guys think it would look like? And do you see any early warning triggers? But it'd be good to, hear your thoughts on it.
Very quickly, I'm not sure it's going to pop, like crash, but I think it might. What we could see is like a gradual, like people stop using AI less and less. And I think that really one of the things that we see in our line of work is the cost of AI and the cost pressure of AI. So if loads of service providers are like raising their prices, and then at some point it's going to be completely unaffordable for studios to use AI tools. So the studios are going to be like, okay, so what's the most relevant for me to use? It's going to be something that has really meaningful impact for like gameplay mechanics or features or whatever. And I think that studios will need to rethink about what's the most relevant and important thing for me. And I think it might be the end of like cheap and easy AI.
Right.
So that people are going to think about, okay, what is really meaningful? How can we like really work around the resources that we have? So maybe not a crash, but like a shift of, okay, cheap easy AI is done. We've done experimenting. Now let's do something that's scalable.
I think, as Paul was saying, I think the investment landscape is probably going to mean that the bubble won't be there in the way that maybe we've seen sort of other trends come into the industry, raise a load of money and then disappear. I don't think the landscape at the minute is allowing that to happen. I think we're kind of at like an Excel spreadsheet moment. Like everybody has it, but it's how you're using it, and competitors are using it maybe better than you, and it's kind of that evening out. And I think it's as people scale up and we get to that kind of level where adoption is pretty universal, and I think you'll see some consolidation from service providers because of that cost element. And it's incredibly hard to package up and price AI tools at the minute because it doesn't necessarily follow standard SaaS models. So I think there's so many unknowns at the minute. I don't think we'll have a big pop moment, but I think we'll probably see some consolidation.
Pal?
It's a good question. You know, you know, as others have said, I think like we're getting to this point where the cost of AI is going to increase. Like I saw an article recently where I think Jeff Bezos was talking about, you know, people won't be able to afford their own sort of machines and they'll have to rent them, which kind of happens with AWS already. But like just from a personal perspective, like we're building our own sort of GPU based servers, and the cost of RAM and those other components has gone up so much. And I think it's going to keep on rising. Well, it looks like it's going to keep on rising. So, you know, I think like models are still basically, they're being baked in as we speak, and that sort of whole infrastructure layer is forming, and in relation to that, I think the models that businesses use, how they monetize, they're still being formed as well. So I think, you know, from that perspective, there will be a leveling out. I don't think there's going to be a sort of pop per se, but it's going to. It's like anything, isn't it? There's going to be a massive cull. Loads of startups and companies won't make it, and a few will. And like, I don't think it's about that. I don't even like looking at it from a bubble. I think like what you should be looking at, right, is the problem you're solving for the user big enough, right? Are you hyper focused on that? Do you know that area so well, and you're providing so much value? All the other stuff can then work out from that, you know, because the AI bubble, again, it's a tool, you know, but if whatever it is you're building, and I see it all the time because I advise for different startups as well, it's like the value proposition of what people are trying to pitch me and tell me is just not there. So I think like going back a step, I think just think deeply about the problem you're solving, and that should be the focus.
I mean, the bubble, you know, I work in PR, I've been hyping brands for 25 years. It is like a potential high point in terms of evaluations, investments, but I'd like to get a reality check from you guys, because you guys are the technical experts, of like a real AI win that's made a measurable impact from your own personal expertise. So, Oriane, I'd love to hear positive AI success
Positive
story.
feedback.
Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah, so obviously we work a lot in production. Like we provide AI tech services and engineering for the studios. So I'm going to be very like production focused. I've met the studio who was trying to build a game that's like a goofy horror co-op game where there is someone in the van that's moderating a chat, and there's someone exploring on the ground, and they need to like talk to each other, and the moderator in the van has like a AI dynamically generated Twitch, but where there is actual narrative information for the person that is exploring on the ground. So this is like the pitch game. The Twitch chat is a core gameplay mechanic of the game, and it's very cool. And they've been trying to build it with ChatGPT just to see if it works, and the answer is yes. But then the whole business model around it would not have been possible to be the game, because it would not have been scalable to use it that way. So I think that AI, yes, is a very positive thing when you have the creative vision. So they had this amazing creative vision of the game, that one of the core gameplay mechanics is used by AI.
Yep.
But they needed someone to do like a local inference model of this LLM, of this like in-game Twitch chat. And I think that it's good because they've been like, you know, playing with it like children be like, oh, it's so nice, it's working so well. And I think this is great because without AI there would not have been here in this particular game like the immersive interaction that the players got with the chat. Like,
I think that's what it's all about. It's like using new technology to create new experiences, which couldn't be done without it. It's still very much a nascent stage of development, but you know, as a as a Gen X gamer, I find, new experiences kind of what it's all about. Guys, I'd love to hear about some success cases from your sides. Charlotte?
Mine's a bit of a shameless plug as well, but
it's all right, go for
it. So Infinite Realms, where I'm working currently, two things. And so one is working with a major IP holder that through the use of the technology has decided to open it up to smaller indie teams. So traditionally this would have sat behind a huge paywall, large MGs every year just to have access to the IP, but by working with us, they feel safe and confident that they can put it in the hands of smaller teams, which I think for me, having spent the last 2.5 years working at the sort of forefront of indie publishing, is really exciting. So that sort of democratization of large IP, because you can create a tool that an indie team can interact with and become experts on the IP to stay canon compliant and true to the lore of that world. The other one is another major IP, a literary estate we're working with, who has had a vision to bring these characters to life, and a transmedia strategy that they've really wanted to put out in the world, especially in gaming, but haven't really ever, it's almost been a bit scared to take that leap because the production times, think it could take years, and we've been able to accelerate that for them, to sort of start looking at bringing true game concepts to life and working with teams to bring them, sort of reducing that solving the blank page problem effectively. So it is more on the creative side, and those are two things that in the last sort of 3 months we've been working on, which are really exciting.
Awesome.
Yeah, so from my point of view, I think it's, what is exciting for me is user-generated content. I think being able to create your own worlds, remix things, if we take audio as an example, I think being able to put, I was at Pixelinks before, which was a Web3 company where, we worked with really big artists, and you could take songs, we basically leveraged the Niantic Lightship SDK. Niantic powers Pokemon Go, and what we had was a mix of in real life IRL and sort of augmented experiences. So you could go to a different concert and you could find different pieces of audio from artists in the real world, and then sort of remix those and stuff. And I think it was that sort of amalgamation of gaming, the real world, and bringing assets in and being able to remix them and put them in your own sort of way. Yeah. And we see that in lots of games now, and people love it. Like you look at Roblox, just making stuff in there, or Minecraft and stuff. I think being able to put your own impact or imprint within a game through your creativity is where people resonate towards. That's what my kids love, building stuff in Minecraft, and they, being able to create within a creative medium is using AI as well. To be able to do that is really exciting, and being able to, the world is a remix. That's what it's becoming, and people love remixing things, right? And that's what I like doing. But, you take a song, being able to split a song up into its constituent stems and play with them in a game somehow is very interesting to me. And that's happening with video and other mediums, and there's this whole convergence happening as well as a result of that between previously isolated stacks. So we had gaming, sport, they were quite siloed, and I think there's a convergence happening with them because of AI. And a classic example of that is you look at creators now. People love watching people like KSI and those sort of creators, and it's gone to this point where a musician can't just be someone behind a desk anymore that you don't see. They kind of have to have a presence of some sort, and again, AI can sort of help with that and put you into different mediums. So it's an exciting time. It's a creative time.
It is. It's a massively polarizing subject, for obvious reasons. But do you, based on the conversation, do you think this is a great time of democratization in terms of content creation for the games industry, where the barriers to entry are, what I hear, is much lower to create gaming experiences? Do you see, what's your viewpoint in terms of, the rise of more small creators to create gaming content?
It's a great question. For me, it's a one-word answer to that. It's with everything, there's a positive and a negative, right? The great thing is now everyone can create a baseline, very good level of anything, right? And so everyone's creating stuff that sounds pretty good. Like you could be using any AI to create something that sounds good. The problem there then is distribution. That's the word I was going to say. Like, how do you stand out from everyone else who's making really good stuff and have your personality? How does that come out?
Yep.
Now, I think that's where the magic happens, right? So like, and I think that's where we need to be digging, is like with all of this stuff that can create quite homogenized output. How do you make something that's super creative or really wacky? Like some of the best music is sound. As humans, we like stuff that sounds wrong. You know, it's been proven. You know, that the recordings that sound a bit crap, like there's some magic to them, right? With everything every output so homogenized and so clean and beautiful, like where do the errors come in? Where does that human element come in? And I think that linked with distribution is the interesting spot here for me.
Interesting. Got to wrap it up. Any questions from the audience? The assembled panelists? No time for questions?
Sorry.
Okay.
So if the audience, if you've got any questions, please find the panel about the show. Yes, sorry, we're running.
All good.
Time is a premium.
Guys, thank you so much. It's been absolutely
Thank
fascinating.
you.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Thanks.
Cheers, guys.
Thank you so much. Thank you.